Okay, let's take a look at this problem. We got 4 minus x over 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. And we got 2x plus 5 over 5x squared minus 17x plus 6. The instructions are to find the LCD for the following rational expressions. So we want to find the LCD of these two. Oops. So the LCD of these two denominators. Now in order to do that, you need to factor your denominators. This one factors as 2x, x, 3, 1 plus, let me double check that, 2x squared minus 6x. Yeah, that's right. This one factors as, and I apologize for that roaring in the background, our central air went out, and I have a small window unit bought just so I wouldn't die in my computer office here. 3, 2, minus. Double check that. Okay. Now your first step is to factor all of your denominators. Then your LCD, you look at each factor. I start with the 2x plus 1. I'm looking for the greatest number of 2x plus 1s in a single denominator. There's 1 here, there's none here, so the greatest number of 2x plus 1s is 1. Then I go to my next factor, the x minus 3. And I'm looking for the greatest number of x minus 3s in a single denominator. There's 1 here, 1 here, so the greatest number of x minus 3s in a single denominator is 1. Now notice we don't count how many there are, we're looking for the greatest number in a single denominator. And then our last factor, 5x minus 2, I'm looking for the greatest number of 5x minus 2s in a single denominator. There's none here, 1 here, so we'd have 1. So that would be our answer. Now if your question was the factoring, let me talk about that. I did it in my head, but this would be using a key number. Reason why it's key number is because we have x squared, x, no x, and there's a number in front of x squared. So we're going to take the number at the beginning times the number at the end, ignoring signs. So we'll take 2 times 3, which gives us 6. We'll come up with 3 columns. Our P column is all the products to give us 6. We got 1 times 6, 2 times 3. And I think I'm going to shut that air conditioner off. I shouldn't get too hot here. Of course, now the train's in the background. Okay, now the S column. That's S for sum. We want to add these together. 1 plus 6 is 7. 2 plus 3 is 5. The difference column. We're going to subtract smaller from larger. 6 minus 1 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. Now, the number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 5. But since our last term is negative, if your last term is negative, it'll always be the one in the difference column. If your last term is positive, it'll always be the number in the S column. So we're working with this 5 here, and the 2 numbers that go along with it are 1 and 6. So we're going to rewrite our middle term using those 2 numbers. Now we have a note that says our larger number, which is a 6, is always the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. If your number is circled in the D column, it's D for different signs. It means one will be positive, one will be negative. Since the 6 was negative, that means the 1 has to be positive. And then we want to use factor by grouping. The first group has a 2x in common, and that gives me x minus 3. Second group has nothing in common, but we always want to factor something out, so I can factor a 1 out. And that gives us x minus 3. Now our goal is to get these parentheses same, which they are. So I'll factor out an x minus 3. And that gives me 2x plus 1. And that's how we get this first denominator here. Now 5x squared minus 17x plus 6. This is again key number, because we have x squared, x, no x, and there's a number in front of x squared. So we'll take our number at the beginning, which is 5, times the number at the end, which is 6. 5 times 6 gives us 30. We write down all products give us 30. We got 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 5 times 6. The S column, add them together. 1 plus 30 is 31, 2 plus 15 is 17, 3 plus 10 is 13, 5 plus 6 is 11. The difference column, we'll subtract smaller from larger. 30 minus 1 is 29, 15 minus 2 is 13, 10 minus 3 is 7, 6 minus 5 is 1. Number we're looking for is a number in the middle term, which is 17, which is right here, so we're going to use 2 and 15. Now our larger number that we're using, which is 15, will always be the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. The number we circled is in the S column, S for same signs, both positive, both negative. Since 15 was negative, the 2 has to be negative. And then I'll factor by grouping. Here I'll factor a 5x out, and that gives us x minus 3. Here I'll factor a negative 2 out, and that gives us x minus 3. Again, our goal was to get these prints the same, which they are. So I'll factor out an x minus 3, and that leaves us 5x minus 2, which is how we came up with this. And that's that problem.